They're calling me Turtle Girl now. Apparently, wanting Fraser Bohm to get a fair trial makes me the enemy. But here's what the internet mob doesn't want you to know. Everything they've told you about this case is wrong. Fraser Bohm is a 22-year-old facing 4 life sentences for a car accident on Pacific Coast Highway that killed 4 Pepperdine students. The media says he was going 104 miles per hour. They're calling him a rich kid monster who deserves life in prison. And Alan Jackson just took this case. You know, Karen Reed's attorney. Yeah, I know you know. And I know you guys are really upset about it. I didn't know the drama behind the people that are angry about the outcome of that trial and how they feel about Alan Jackson or anybody that covers anything that Alan Jackson touches. But let's talk about it. 104 miles per hour. The number prosecutors say proves conscious disregard for human life. But when you actually read the 600 pages of preliminary hearing transcripts that nobody else bothered with, you discover something that should terrify anyone who believes in a fair trial. The traffic investigator who collected this evidence admits under oath that it might be completely wrong. I'm Ari, and if you watched the last episode, you know we exposed Nancy Grace's 7 major lies about this case. Today, we're going through what witnesses actually said when they were under oath and had to tell the truth. This terrible accident on Pacific Coast Highway killed 4 beautiful Pepperdine students. Neve Rolston, Peyton Stewart, Asha Weir, and Deslyn Williams. They lost their lives that night, tragically. Here's what these preliminary hearing transcripts reveal. 6 civilian witnesses testified about what they saw that night. 3 law enforcement officers presented evidence that has serious problems. The prosecution's star witness changed his story between his police interview and court testimony. And the 104 miles per hour reading everyone's obsessed with comes with a big warning label. But here's what should concern every American. Fraser was originally charged with vehicular manslaughter. A few days later, with 0 new evidence, they upgraded it to life sentence charges. What changed here? In my opinion, and according to the defense, political pressure during an election year. 27 fatal crashes on that same stretch of PCH in 5 years. Fraser is the only one facing life sentence. Coming up, you'll meet the witnesses who testified, hear exactly what they said under oath, and discover why this preliminary hearing revealed a prosecution case built on questionable evidence and investigative shortcuts. Plus, we'll break down why the traffic investigator's admission that his key evidence may not be accurate should terrify anyone who believes in getting a fair trial in America. That's why Larry, the DUI guy, and I spent weeks going through 600 pages of Fraser Bohm's preliminary hearing transcripts, because when someone faces 4 life sentences, the actual evidence should actually matter more than viral TikToks or the Malibu Times. Even Nancy Grace saying multiple times that Fraser Bohm, well, she called him Fraser Bohm, but whatever, was driving a red BMW. No, it was like dark gray or something like that. But the point is, it definitely wasn't red. And the Malibu Times has had, quite a while to get this story correct, but they just keep spewing the information that's not correct, including that he ran from the scene, which I'll explain that that is not true either. But, what we found in these transcripts is probably going to shock you. The prosecutor's case isn't just weak, it's built on admittedly unreliable data, contaminated witnesses, and investigative shortcuts that would make an honest detective cringe. This isn't about defending Fraser's actions that night. This is about demanding that life sentence charges be based on actual evidence instead of political pressure and class warfare. 4 beautiful young women lost their lives on PCH. Neve, Peyton, Asha, and Deslyn, they deserve better than what happened that night. But destroying another life with false evidence won't bring them back. And when the system abandons facts for feelings, when prosecutors upgrade charges without new evidence, and when your bank account determines how you're treated by the justice system, nobody wins. So let me explain what we're actually looking at in these transcripts. By the way, if you want to hear what the transcript said, go to Larry, the DUI guy's channel, and check out the playlist there. You can hear it for yourself. A preliminary hearing in a homicide case is where the prosecution has to convince a judge that there's probable cause that Fraser committed intentional harm, not just vehicular manslaughter, but actual conscious disregard for human life, aka he did it and he meant to do it. If the defense can show the evidence doesn't support life sentence charges, then Fraser would avoid trial on 4 counts that carried decades in prison. The stakes couldn't be higher here. So here's exactly who testified at Fraser's preliminary hearing on April 28th and 29th: Omar Marino and Nicole Taveras. This was a couple who were driving together that night. They arrived at the crash scene after it happened, so they didn't witness the actual collision. Their key testimony was that they saw Fraser being physically restrained by other witnesses and heard aggressive language, including someone yelling, "Mother effer," at him. Important detail: they left before police arrived. Victor Calandra. Now, this is the prosecution's star witness and will destroy his credibility next time because he just seriously reminds me of Jen McCabe in terms of the fact that he had to talk to everybody. He's talking outside the courthouse when he's not supposed to be talking with other witnesses. Calandra was driving a blue GMC pickup truck and claims he witnessed the most. His story is that he started noticing erratic driving by Fraser's BMW around Sunset Boulevard. He saw Fraser texting at a red light at Los Flores Canyon, yelled a warning at him, and then watched Fraser's car take off like a bat out of hell at approximately 70 miles per hour after the light turned green. He says he witnessed the collision from a distance. At the scene, Calandra helped get victim Carlos out of his damaged vehicle and then found Fraser frantically searching in his car. Believing Fraser might be trying to leave, Calandra grabbed him by his sweatshirt and walked him to sit down on an embankment. Important detail: Calandra exchanged phone numbers with victim Carlos and had dinner with Carlos and his family after the incident, but before Calandra's second police interview. Then there was Erica Ortiz. She was driving a white Honda Civic when a car passed her super fast, as she said, on the right side while she was going 45 to 50 miles per hour. She witnessed the speeding car crash into parked cars and saw another car flip. She says she stopped briefly, but then in shock, she left and called her sister. So she left the scene as well. Then there was Myra Ortiz. This is Erica's sister, who was also a witness, and she had a car pass by her fast before the collision, but she doesn't remember what the car looked like, if it was Fraser's or whose it could have been. She recorded crucial cell phone video of the aftermath of the accident that became key evidence. She heard someone aggressively yelling at Fraser, "Sit the F down, you're not going anywhere." From what I saw or heard from the transcripts, it felt like maybe she saw people were being aggressive with Fraser, and she's like, I better catch this on camera because something doesn't seem right here, or just something seems aggressive here. So she went back to her car to get her phone and started recording. Then there was Miguel Cucino. He was driving a black Ford Explorer with his wife at a traffic light. He observed Fraser's BMW not properly positioned at the stop line, and after the light turned green, he saw the BMW veer into the right lane. A white car honked at it as a warning. I'm presuming that was the white Honda Civic, but I'm not sure. Erica's car. And then the BMW sped up dramatically and passed another vehicle. Before the crash, he saw the BMW swerve around another vehicle before losing control. At the scene, he approached Fraser's car, where Fraser kept saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Cucino helped move Fraser away from the vehicle, saying, "I didn't know if he was going to run or if he was going to try to do something. I just wanted him to stay still." Again, Fraser didn't run away. Then there was Carlos. This was a victim in the collision, trapped in his damaged vehicle with its front end up against the mailbox. He was, quote, struggling in the vehicle initially until someone helped him get out. He appeared shaken up and in shock, but had no evidence of abrasions or anything like that. Under cross-examination, Victor Calandra's story showed inconsistencies between his initial police statement and court testimony. But here's the crucial detail the prosecution doesn't want you to focus on. Calandra had ongoing contact with victim Carlos, including dinner with Carlos and his family between the incident and Calandra's follow-up police interview. This ongoing relationship with one of the witnesses could have influenced his later testimony, and it seems like he went to a memorial service for the women as well. It just seems like Victor Calandra was getting very involved and wanted to come off as the hero of the story, but we'll get into his testimony and cross-examination on the next video. Multiple witnesses described Fraser as saying, I'm sorry, repeatedly. Fraser wasn't trying to flee. He was frantic and disoriented, searching in his car for something. The witnesses moved him away from the vehicles preventatively based on their assumptions about what he might do, not because he was trying to escape. Completely changes the narrative about Fraser's behavior at the scene and raises serious questions about witness bias and what the media has been reporting. Before we get into how the prosecution's case fell apart, let me tell you about something that actually does work. CreatorGenius.com. If you're tired of posting content that disappears into the algorithm void, we've got you covered. We don't just create content, we create content that converts. Every video, every caption, every hook is built from actual data and proven strategies that get your ideal customer to watch and engage and buy. You hand over your social media goals and we turn them into a month's worth of short form content that stops the scroll and drives real revenue. Check out creatorgenius.com and let's make your next post the ones that actually pay your bills. Here's what this preliminary hearing actually revealed, and it should shock you. No witnesses saw Fraser going 104 miles per hour, none of them. Erica Ortiz was going 45 to 50 according to her when the car passed her super fast. Myra, her sister, also had a car pass her extremely fast, but wasn't sure what color it was, what kind of car it was, and when it was. Multiple witnesses estimated speeds around 60 to 70 miles per hour if they saw Fraser, and that's also nowhere near the 104 miles per hour the EDR supposedly recorded. And then how did the other vehicle come up on the car accident so quickly if he was going 104 and they were going 45? You get what I'm saying? Like the math just, there's no way that they would have caught up that fast. But here's the question nobody's asking. If everyone on that road was going normal speeds around 50 miles an hour, what actually caused this crash? Miguel Cucino testified he saw a white car honk at Fraser's BMW as a warning. Why was someone honking? Was somebody else getting into a certain lane? Like, what happened? What were they warning about? Fraser's mirror was damaged in a way that supports being sideswiped. So whether that was the Honda or Victor, we don't know. Or how did that damage happen on the left side of his car? Victor Calanda described seeing erratic driving starting way back at Sunset Boulevard, but he was going back and forth, he admitted, from lane to lane. So was he just like, I don't know, mad that Fraser had a nice car? Like, we don't know. There's no evidence saying that Fraser was texting and driving. Honestly, I mean, this is just a total speculation, but if I went to go get tacos, it would be really hard for me not to grab one. So was Fraser eating? We don't know. Like that, none of that is talked about in the transcripts or anything like that. I don't know, but I just don't know what could have gotten Victor Calandra upset with Fraser. It doesn't seem like Fraser was being aggressive towards him, and I wasn't there. And I hope that there is cameras or something like that to give us more information. I want to see like the videos of where the cars were. We don't have any of that stuff. At least I haven't seen it. The EDR data showing 100 miles an hour, though, like I think that is really flawed. And Deputy Apodaca admits that it may not be accurate. So they really did zero traditional reconstruction to verify it. And I just think it's so unfair to put everything like the life of somebody on the line when the technology isn't even meant to record this type of data. So we have really unreliable computer data saying 104 miles an hour and actual human witnesses saying 60 to 70 miles per hour. The testimony describes a complex situation with multiple vehicles driving aggressively, a white car honking warnings, and Fraser's mirror damage in a way consistent with being sideswiped. This doesn't excuse what happened, and 4 young women lost their lives in a preventable tragedy. But for Fraser to face 4 life sentences, the prosecution needs to prove that he acted with conscious disregard for human life. The preliminary hearing testimony raises questions about whether the evidence supports that level of intent. Was this a terrible accident caused by road rage escalation, reckless driving that should be vehicular manslaughter, or the intentional disregard that justifies homicide charges? The families of Neve, Peyton, Asha, and Deslin deserve accountability. For sure. They deserve to know what really happened that night. But they also deserve a justice system that charges people based on evidence, not public pressure. The EDR data has reliability issues. The witness testimony described a multi-vehicle situation. The investigation was compromised. That matters because getting the charges right, whether it's manslaughter or homicide, affects whether justice is actually served. Next time, we're examining Victor Calandra's testimonies, inconsistencies, and what Fraser told police during interviews while suffering from a brain injury. Because the details of how evidence was collected in this case raise serious questions about the reliability of the prosecution's case. What stood out to you the most from this preliminary hearing testimony? The speed discrepancies between witnesses, the EDR, the lack of proper investigation to verify the key evidence, the complex multi-vehicle situation that emerged from witness accounts. This case matters because it's about whether our justice system charges people based on solid evidence or public pressure, whether the difference between vehicular manslaughter and homicide is determined by facts or feelings. 4 families lost their daughters that night. They deserve truth, not prosecutorial theater. They deserve accountability based on what actually happened, not what makes for better headlines. And if this breakdown of actual court testimony opened your eyes to how different the evidence is from media coverage, please share this video. Most people are forming opinions based on social media clips, not 600 pages of sworn testimony. Please follow at Little Miss Jacob everywhere for continued coverage. If you like my merch, you can go to littlemissjacob.com and it's available through Amazon. Check it out. Remember, justice requires evidence, accountability, and truth. So smash that like button, turn on your notifications. And if you guys want me to cover other cases, I'm interested in the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni situation. I'm interested in Laura Owens and how basically the internet community came together to get her in front of a judge and jury. She accused my friend Clayton of getting her pregnant when it wasn't true and has done it to other people. There's a lot of people hitting me up about Gypsy Rose. There's just so many cases. And then I'm following Kendra, the crazy lady. Anyway, so there's so many things we can cover. I only have so much time in a day. Please leave some comments and let me know what you guys are interested in. Okay, besties, remember, seek truth, don't be a crybaby, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
It's the rhythm of the bold, the beat of the free, the sound of ambition, the way it should be. Step by step, let the groove take control. Turn the highs and lows into pure gold. This is the show. This is the vibe. The Little Miss Jacob groove is alive.